Uh, Good morning, friends. Myself, Manoj Kumar Chitale, Assistant Professor, Hirashugar Institute of Technology, Nidsoshi. In this session, we people are going to discuss about the test. That is a kinds of a test we people are using. Uh, a test is a tool that is used to measure something, and that something may include the number of areas here. That is a conformance with a requirement, a conformance with guidelines for a good design, identification of design problems, ease of system learning, retention of learning over a time, speed of task completion, speed of need fulfillment, error rates, subjective user satisfaction. Usually that testing, it's a formal method. Usually it is created as well as applied intentionally with a purpose here, and based on a certain criteria, we people are simply performing this testing processes with a certain understanding of what a good result would be. Here we people are going to discuss the number of methods, guidelines and standard reviews, heuristic evaluation, cognitive walkthrough, think aloud evaluation, a usability test, a classic experiment, focus groups. Guidelines and a standard review. A guideline review. A guideline review is a review of the interface in terms of an organization standard and design guidelines here. Here the guideline review is an inspection of interface navigation and screen design, and the layout in the context of organization standards and design guidelines here. We people are performing a checklist that simply consists or summarizes the system standards, and a guideline document is prepared, and that can be used as a basis for that comparison here. Suppose if your system may not able to meet these standard guidelines, on that case the design modification may be necessary. If you look at the advantages, most of the time the software developers can perform this kind of a test, can be performed by the developer. Apart from that, the low cost that is associated with it, and its ability to identify the general as well as recurring problems, as well as particularly it is useful for identifying screen design and layout problems here. When it comes to the disadvantages, this guideline review and standard review is a static in nature, and that may miss several conceptual navigation and operational problem. There are a number of the organizations, they have simply have their own guidelines. For example, when it comes to Apple, they have their own guidelines creating the Mac applications. In the same way, even Microsoft uses its own standard dealing with a user interfaces here. The next one, we have a heuristic evaluation. A heuristic evaluation, it's a detailed evaluation of the system by interface design specialists to identify the problems here. Okay, in heuristic evaluation, we have a interface specialist. They have a vast experience in that field. They study the system in depth, and they try to look for certain properties they know. Okay, and after that they are trying to identify the problems here, and that the interface is judged for its compliance with a recognized usability principle, that is nothing but the heuristic here. The advantages that are associated with it, this heuristic evaluation process is easy to do. Its cost is very low here. It does not waste the user's time, as well as with this heuristic approach, we can able to identify many usability problems here. The disadvantages associated with: the evaluator must possess interface design expertise. Suppose if you look at this particular scenario, when we people are selecting some evaluators from the given area or domain, and that domain becomes very shallow. If you go on selecting the evaluator based on their experiences, that pool becomes the very narrow, or and from that particular pool you people are selecting some expertise, and this evaluator may not possess an adequate understanding of the task and the user communities. They have a problem. These expert reviewers or expertise also have some sort of a difficulty or a problem to know how typical users behave. That is a first time user, how they are able to learn that a particular system, so on and so forth here. And they have a certain problem to understand the behavior of the first time users, though people who use that a particular system, as well as it is a very difficult to identify the deeper design problem that simply includes some system wide structural problem, or sometime we this particular process simply uncover missing exist or interface elements, as well as even it is very difficult to identify the most important problems. Okay, among these among those are documented here. This heuristic approach does not provide a systematic way to generate solutions to the problem also. If you they have given a certain guidelines when it comes to this heuristic evaluation. When it comes to the guidelines, most of the time we people need to select the expertise from the given domain, or especially they should and must possess that interface design expertise people we need to select. Most of the time we use 3 to 5 expert evaluators for that purpose here. We need to select these knowledgeable persons, that is expertise in that given domain. They are very familiar with the a project situation, and they should and must possess a long term relation with the organization here. If you look at this heuristic evaluation process, according to the guidelines, that we need to select around 3 to 5 expert evaluators. They are very familiar with the project situation, as well as they should and must possess some sort of a long-term relationship with the organization, and these fellows should and must be experienced in the domain here. After that, we need to prepare this session. We need to prepare them. We need to prepare as well as assemble a project overview and provide a checklist of heuristics to them. During this briefing session, you should and must inform the these expert members to review the purpose of the evaluation session, as well as preview the evaluation process, present them the project overview and heuristics. If they raise any question, the organization should and must answer them. And suppose if the evaluator needs some sort of a training, in certain cases the evaluator may not be familiar with the system or a system environment. In that case, training is necessary. Usually that briefing session should not exceed the 60 minutes. Okay, that a briefing session should and must be 45 minutes to 60 minutes here. After that, we need to conduct the session. Each evaluator should and must inspect that system alone, in the absence of other member here. That provides some sort of unbiased evaluation from each evaluator. These evaluators simply establishes their own method of review, or they simply follow the process, their own process here for the review of the system. In some cases, these reviewer or the reviewer or the evaluator simply use the system without any user assistant or some sort of a procedural assistant, browse the system according to their usage. If evaluator are not familiar with the system content as well as a purpose, we need to provide them usage scenarios if necessary. During that session, the evaluator compare their finding with a list of usability principles, and after that they are trying to detect the problems that are related to specific heuristic they violate here. Multiple heuristic can be associated with one identified problem also. We need we need to make at least 2 passes through the system here, and after that the comments that are given by the evaluator, that should and must be recorded. Either the evaluator can write these comments, or observer can record them. Suppose if you are using that writing process, suppose if the evaluator uses the writing process, on that case the evaluator will get some sort of more work. Even in such cases, the evaluator simply divert from that particular evaluation process in certain cases. For that purpose, we need the observer, so that observer can simply note down the comments that are made by the evaluator. The fellow has to only record a set of personal notes, not a multiple reports or reviews here. In certain cases, the observer may answer questions, as well as they provide some sort of hints here. Most of the time, we people are trying to restrict the length of the session here. That is to 2 hours. Suppose if you have some sort of a complicated interfaces, on that case it's better to split these sessions into several sessions, where the evaluator can concentrate on a part of these interfaces. After this session, the evaluators notes should and must be compiled, and they should and must hold some debriefing session or inspection session, including the observer as well as design team members, because each evaluator simply presents problems that are detected, and the heuristic it violated. We need to assemble all these problems. That is nothing but a list of usability problems we people are getting from each of these evaluators. And after that, you should and must seek some sort of suggestions for improving the problematic aspects of the systems that are discussed here. After the debriefing session, we need to generate a composite list of violations into a rating form here, and that rating may as well as we need to request the evaluators to assign some sort of a severity rating to each violation, and that can range from usability catastrophe to not usability problem here. Even we need to analyze the results and establish a program to correct the violations and deficiencies here. If you look at the list of a heuristic what we people are getting, or what kind of the heuristic you should and must provide to the researcher, we have a set of guidelines here. That is a research based set of heuristics we have. Automate unwanted workload, free cognitive resources for a high level task, eliminate mental calculation, estimations, comparisons, and unnecessary thinking here. Reduce uncertainty, display data in a manner that is a very clear and obvious one. Fuse data, Reduce a cognitive load by bringing together lower level data into higher level summations. Present a new information with meaningful aids to the interpretation. Use a familiar framework, making easier to observe. Use everyday terms or metaphors, and so on. User names that are conceptually related to function, that is a context dependent as well as a attempt to improve recall and recognition. A group data in a consistently meaningful ways to decrease the search time. Limit a data driven task, that is reduce the time needed to simulate raw data. Make appropriate use of a color as well as a graphics. Include in the display only that information needed by the user at a given time. Allow the user to remain focused on a critical data. Exclude extraneous information that is not relevant to the current tasks here. Provide a multiple coding of a data where appropriate. Practice a judicious redundancy to resolve the conflict between the these heuristics 6 and 8 here. We people are having a set of a heuristic list here that is used for web pages here. Speak the user's language. Use familiar words, phrases, and concepts. Present the information in a logical and natural order. Be consistent. We need to indicate a similar concept through the identical terminologies or graphics. We need to use a uniform conventions for layout, formatting, and typefaces, labeling, and so on. Minimize the user's memory load. We need to take advantage of recognition rather than the recalling here. That completely deals with the user's memory capability here. Do not force a user to remember key information across the documents. The next one, we have build a flexible and efficient systems. We need to accommodate a range of user sophistication and diverse user goals. Provide instructions where useful. Layout screens so that frequently accessed information can be easily found. Design aesthetics and minimalist systems. Create a visually pleasing displays. Eliminate irrelevant or distracting information. Use chunking. Write materials so that documents are so short and contain only one topic here. Do not force the user to access multiple documents to complete a single thought. Provide a progressive level of details. Organize the information in a hierarchical manner with more general information appearing before more specific here. Encourage the user to delve as deeply as needed, but to stop whenever sufficient information has been obtained. Give the navigational feedback. Facilitate jumping between the related topics. Allow the user to determine the current position in a document structure. Make it easy to return to an initial state. The ninth one, that is don't lie to the user. Eliminate erroneous and misleading links here. Do not refer to missing information. We have a set of heuristics that should and must be provided to the evaluator. Based on these guidelines, they are simply interested to evaluate your system. Either it may be a user interfaces, or it may be that is a graphical system, or it may be your web pages here. The next one, we have a cognitive walkthrough. Uh, this cognitive walkthrough reviews is used uh, uh, by the designers or evaluators. They simply review of the interface in the context of a task a user performs. Okay, usually the developers walk through these interfaces from the perspective of this particular context, that is the task that are performed by the users here. Individual task actions are examined, and the evaluator simply build some sort of the logical reasoning why the user has to perform these examined task, and after that these actions are compared with the users knowledge and goals here. And after that we people are trying to identify the problems. If you get the problems, on that case those problems should and must be noted, and the tasks are modified if necessary. Even this walkthrough requires the task definition methodology that should and must be properly accomplished in the system requirement stage only. If you look at the advantages that are associated with it, this cognitive walkthrough allows a clear evaluation of the task flow early in the design process here. Suppose if you have some sort of flaws that can be detected in the early phase of that design process, and they can be easily fixed here. As well as they do not require a functioning prototype. A low cost that are associated with a cognitive walkthrough a testing process. Even they can be used to evaluate alternate solutions, that is design solutions. Most of the time these are cognitive walkthrough are performed by the developers. They are more structured than the heuristic approach or evaluation process or a testing process. And the cognitive walkthrough also useful for assessing the exploratory learning. That is the first time use of a system without a formal training. If you look at the disadvantages, it's a tedious one to perform, that is a difficult to perform. In certain cases it may miss inconsistencies and general and recurring problems. When it comes to the guidelines, the cognitive walkthroughs are needed to conduct. Why we people are conducting these walkthroughs? They provide some sort of a general description of a proposed system users, and the relevant knowledge, what these user possess knowledge about these systems or interfaces. A specific description of one or more core or a representative task to be performed, as well as a list of correct actions that are required to complete each task here. And this cognitive walkthrough should and must review several core or representative tasks across a range of functions, as well as proposed task of a particular concern to the developers here. We need to we need to assign certain roles for these developers. They should and must scribe to record the results of the actions. A facilitator to keep the evaluation moving. This cognitive process should and must start with a simple task. Don't get bogged down demanding solutions. As well as we people are restricting this cognitive walkthrough session to a 60 to 90 minutes here. The remaining thing we will discuss in the next class here. Thank you.